Hi everyone, this is Glenn and Flair from Board Games and Bourbon. Right now, I want to talk to you about my 5 favorite solo games that you can play. Short format, ones that aren't going to take all day. Okay, now these are games not necessarily designed to be one player only, but they have one player variants. So, to begin the list, we are going to start with, I actually have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have 4 honorable mentions. Okay, so for my first one, maybe you can call this a less than honorable mention. Age of War. Believe it or not, Age of War has a few solo variants, and one of them, in Age of War, it's kind of like Elder Sign. You're rolling to take over outposts, and when you claim sets, they are all yours. If you don't have a set of outposts, people can steal them back from you. And in the solo variant, if you go for an outpost and you lose, the AI player takes it. And then you can try to steal it from the AI player, but if you fail that again, they take another one. So it's actually pretty cool, very fast. I like these games because they have easy setup, they play quickly, totally understandable, and the fact that they don't take up a whole day is exactly what I want. Okay, so anyway, less than honorable mention, but a great game, Age of War. All right, number 2, not really short format, but I gotta tell you one of my favorite solo games, Greenland. I don't even know if you can get it anymore. I think you can, but Greenland is really great. You're playing as either the Inuits, the Vikings, and perhaps the Thule, the 3 people who are fighting over the resources of Greenland and nearby islands. There's pirates coming selling goods. You're fighting over northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere. You're getting wiped out by venereal disease. There's intermarrying so that you can share influence and power. There's farming, overkilling of certain biomes. So creatures are going extinct. The resources are shrinking. Things are becoming colder. This is a fantastic game, but I'm not sure that it fits the short format, so that's why it's on the nearly honorable list. Okay, so now we're more into the actual honorable list. Hostage Negotiator, right? So at Hostage Negotiator, you are trying to save your, you have hostages. You're trying to save these hostages by talking with the hostage themselves. Now, the reason this isn't higher on the list, when I got it, I thought to myself, oh man, this is going to be a real tense game. That's going to be awesome. And there is tension, but I can't say that I ever, even when I won it, thought it was fun. I more or less came away relieved. And I bought a bunch of expansions for it. And when the feeling strikes, I really want to play this game. But otherwise, sometimes it can be like pulling teeth because there's a really brutal die roll in it. And the reason, in particular, this die roll is brutal is because in the game, you essentially have a whole bunch of cards, and you are trading in... you start with one card. If you get a lucky roll on it, it gives you points. You can spend your points to buy this other card. If you do well there and you take a roll, it will multiply, and then you can buy even more powerful cards that let you save hostages or kill the bad guy or whatever it's called. And you will do all this working, and you'll have your big card, and you want to play it, and you roll your die, and it was a bad die roll, so your card has no effect. And it's gone. That's it. Goodbye. And now you have to start the process to work it all up again. So that is brutal. But once you played enough, you start to learn the ins and outs of the different bosses in the game. There's a few. And I think I bought 3 additional. And then you learn, okay, well, this guy, I need to get the language up first. I need to get my my spending points up. Or you're like, okay, I need to get the dice down. Or I just need to get people out. There's different ways, but yeah, that dice roll holds it back from being the top 5. But when the mood strikes, boy, that's a great game. And now, actually, for a game a lot of us already know, and actually gets an honorable mention, but also didn't make the top, is Onirim. Onirim with the first expansion is my favorite. I've heard before that you can mix all the expansions, but I feel like it becomes overwrought and too much to do, and it loses the reason I enjoy it. I actually got to tell you, most of the time I don't like expansions because I feel like the genius of the game was in the efficiency of the first version. Sometimes expansions will correct issues or just simply add content. Other times they make them convoluted. So in Onirim, of course, you have cards. You're trying to get sets of cards so that you can clear these things called doors. You're in a dream and you're trying to get rid of nightmares. In the first expansion, the order in which you collect these cards is determined. That's a cool feature. I forget what the other ones are. They're all basically variations of the same thing, but I like the first expansion. But that's a fun game, and that can really strike the mood, okay? And that's easy breezy, man. That's a really great game. You're going to enjoy that one. Okay, number 5. 5 out of 5. 4 is not the last one, so it'll be number 5. Number 5, Friday, right? And that great green box. Everyone knows about this game. And that one's really easy and to play, and it's colorful. And yeah, there's a little bit of work as you go in the beginning because, basically you have these trials and tribulations. You're deciding if you're going to defeat it. You're going to decide if you're going to lose cards to just get rid of bad cards. Depleting your own power source to deplete essentially the island who is your enemy, their power sources, and it's kind of like discarding in Star Realms or something like that. You're doing it to make a more potent deck, and this is a lot of fun. And once you really understand it too, you have a pretty good chance of beating everything in the game. Okay, so that's a really great one. Friday, highly recommended. You know what? I'm going to throw one more game in here too. Star Realms. Star Realms. This is going to be not number 5. This is going to be number 4.5. Star Realms. Star Realms with the boss variant. Oh gosh, so much fun. I love that game. That's definitely in my top 5. That might even be in my top 2. For now, we'll call it 4.5. That's a fantastic game. You cannot go wrong. Star Realms with the boss card. It's the boss card you have to get from one of the expansions, and essentially you'll lay out these cards, and what the boss does is, depending on what card is flipped next, right? Star Realms is a deck builder, you have a market. Depending on what card comes out next in the marketplace, that card will do something very specific to you. It will hit you for this many points, or it'll heal itself for this many points, or something along these lines. And as it adds a market card, the one over here is blown up. So it creates this urgency where if you're trying to build up a certain color, you got to get this card because it's about to be blown up. And you can somewhat card count what's coming, although I'm not good enough to do that. But man, I love that one. There's also another one where the cards combine and they hit harder and harder and bigger. There's like 2 bosses. Man, that game's great. Okay, moving on. A new one. One Deck Dungeon. This game is awesome. It is cleverly simple. It's a brand new game. And I love this game because the setup is so fast, man. You literally, it takes like 3 minutes to set up. Here's the box, okay? I'm gonna just, I don't care what character I play, so I just pick a character, I pick a boss, and I try to make the best out of it. And it's so fast, and you're just rolling die. You're trying to match die to the card you're on. If you survive the card that you try to battle with, you can turn it into a power, or you can turn it into more weaponry, or you can use it to level up. And the fact that depending on how you use your dungeon cards, your character grows in all these different ways means every time you're playing with the same boss, you're choosing different tactics on how to arrive at a victory. So this one has a lot of replayability, super fast play. Love this one. Moving on. Now we're going to say we're on number 3, and that's going to be the Grizzled at Your Orders expansion. So now what the expansion did was it took a game that normally was multiplayer, and it added a 2-player variant with a dummy 3rd player, and then it added, now I shouldn't be disrespectful, it actually, a lot of effort went into it. I appreciate and thank you for that effort, designer. But the solo is better. The solo is really really cool, man. You're playing as 3 people. You choose what your cards are. You get these little coffee tokens that help clear out your palette. And of course, in this game, what you're doing is you're just trying not to die. That's a running theme in my games. Don't die. If you get matching cards of like certain ailments, you suffer. and it makes life harder and harder. And I don't know that I've ever won this game, but boy is it fun trying to win it. It's short, easy to set up. That's a great one. Number 2, Castles of Burgundy, the card game. Man, I'll tell you what, card games normally are simpler, and this one, okay, first of all, it takes up an entire table, but once you do like one run through, you're gonna know exactly how it works. I love this game because of the AI player is so fast. The AI player makes total sense. There's no effort. I've played so many games, especially like when I played like Pax Pamir, or they have some of these games that have like an AI opponent where it's like the most convoluted. I mean, half the game is just figuring out how to do the AI movement, which is not what the AI should be. In this game, okay, there's a lot of cards. It takes up an entire table. Essentially, you're just trying to get points. And there's 100 different ways to get points. You can have the most of this, agricultural cards. You can have the most of whatever, ship cards, silver cards. You can turn in the silver to do that. You can go this other way. You might give up on getting points on the blue cards, but you're the first one to get the yellow cards, so you get a bonus for that. And this is what the cards look like on the back. It's awesome, and the AI for this is really just, it says, hey, you're going to play rounds. Stack, like 2 cards, then 3 cards, then 4 cards, then 5 cards. And essentially every round, every time you take a turn, the AI, 2 cards. They have 2 cards they work with. And then you do your thing. Now the next round, now they have like 3 cards to work with. And so it kind of goes like that. In that sense, it's kind of like Star Realms, where the Star Realms character builds in strength as the game goes on. So you feel that pressure and that presence becoming more and more foreboding. But this is really great. The scores are always very tight, which I like in this one too. Actually, if you like this kind of game, a game that just came out that has that point salad kind of deal, that's very easy breezy, and you can play a lot. World Fair by Renegade Games and Foxtrot. That's great. But probably my number 1 solo game is Space Hulk Death Angel. Space Hulk is an awesome dungeon crawler, essentially. And Death Angel feels like you are living an alien movie. You are, it's in the Warhammer universe, but it could really be anyone. And there's a few things that work together in there. When you're playing multi-person, you don't know what the other people are going to do, how they're going to react. It's almost like you actually are reacting in the moment, so you don't have time to think. When you're playing solo, you're playing probably as 3 people, so you get to coordinate your efforts, which gives you actually a better shot at winning. And the game's premise is essentially you're stuck on the ship, aliens are coming in hordes, you have to work together, each of you needs to pull powers that benefit each other. Maybe you need to flip what direction you shoot on, or maybe you need to help give this guy a reroll and stuff like this. And maybe there's an area that can trigger a power if you can get to a computer terminal and pull a lever, and what that'll do is that'll eject a bunch of aliens or something like this for the next round. And you need to clear the whole board, and then it progresses and progresses. I think I've won this once or twice out of tons and tons of plays. Now this one also has a really brutal die roll, but it feels good, the die roll here. So juxtaposing this to Hostage Negotiator, the die roll in here, you take a die roll. If it comes up, I forget what it is. I think if it comes up with the skull, you're dead. That's just how it works. You're dead. So, or you know what it is, your number has to be higher, one of these things. I have to review. But essentially you do a die roll. The die roll isn't the right number you needed. You die. That's it. No redo. There are reroll tokens, but assuming you don't have those, or you only have 1 token, there's not like there's an endless supply. You're dead, and that means your whole man is out of the game. It means the same horde of aliens keeps coming in the same numbers. There's just less of you to use per turn. Now that seems like a very brutal die roll. However, the reason it doesn't feel so brutal is you didn't spend your whole game trying to build up to activate the dice. You just get to roll the dice whenever there's combat, so you're not like putting all this pre-effort in to have it washed away by the die roll. and also because you're being slaughtered by all these aliens. It makes sense. Something went wrong, you died. You feel the walls closing in. It's really, really cool. I think this plays in about 40 minutes when I play it, so that's why I'm including it as the short format. Okay, so again, that's a whole bunch of games here. Let me all stack them up. These are all worth checking out. Should you... do we have room? Yeah. And there. Okay, there we go. These are the games. Yeah. I'm going to recommend, and then hopefully you'll have fun trying these and you'll drink a big thing of coffee and it'll be good. All right, thanks guys so much. I hope these gave you some good ideas of things to check out for yourself, and have fun. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.